wrinkled look. All right, so this is my tank at home right now in New York. I'm gonna stand over here so I'm more close to you guys. So this is my tank right now in New York.
All right, we're starting the door around about 5 minutes.
17 years, I guess.
And keep your last minutes around like that. So hang on to your door price.
They have going on here. I think one of the most important things that we're going to is keeping your tank alive. So I think, when I go to these frac shows, people are going to come back here.
You got to do that for
accumulating a lot of net value, which obviously are in an environment that are now thousands of miles away from where they came from, in your living room, where they don't belong. So it's ultimately your responsibility to keep them alive. And the room for error is really not great. So the products that my company manufactures are primarily focused on maintaining their health, and then getting to the point where the healthy list is growing as best as possible. And then I think the secondary benefit of all the stuff that we make is to take care of the day-to-day tasks that you would be doing on your tank. So feeding the fish, refilling it with fresh water, water changes, dosing additives, things like that, water flow, all that. So you think about all the things you do day to day, we have solutions really well. So first and foremost, I think the most valuable part of the products that we make is the monitoring aspect. A lot of people will refer to the Apex as a controller, but really its value is in making sure that the tank is still there when you go home the next day. So our bigger system, we do have two kind of entry points right now: the Apex Junior, which monitors temperature, and the heartbeat function, which is making sure that the tank is still connected to the internet. So if you lose power at home, you get a text message about it. If the temperature is up or down, you get a text message about it. Our larger system, our $800 retail price system, which on sale today, includes temperature, heating, salinity, as well as ORP. And ORP is water quality, it's redox. So it's essentially the battle of good and evil in the tank, and that number is going to go up and down during the day, and things are going your way or not going your way in the tank. So if you were to have some sort of shock on the system, you would see a large bump in that number, and that would be it's almost like a field mode in the tank. Further to that, we also have power monitoring on each one of our outlets. So this is our Energy Bar 832 here. This is mine right now, and you can see that my return pump is drawing 31 watts. It's actually calculating cost per day, as well as all the other devices that I have plugged in there. And they could be anything. It could be your phone charger, a light bulb in your house. Any equipment that's plugged into those 8 outlets will monitor the power draw real time. What that's going to do is get you ahead of equipment failure. Most equipment is not going to just die one day without any provocation or reason whatsoever. There's going to be some signs of that happening that you probably wouldn't be able to notice yourself, but something that's able to monitor within 1 watt is going to be able to see that something is not operating the same as it was a week and a half ago. The most common problem really in all aquariums is heater failure. In the big scheme of an aquarium, a heater is probably one of the cheapest pieces of equipment that you could possibly have to have. And it is the simplest thing that could fail, you not notice, and then lead to catastrophic loss of your tank. A lot of people say, well, I see my tank every day and I'm hands-on. It doesn't mean that they're noticing these kinds of things happening. This would be instantaneous. If my heater was supposed to be on and it doesn't draw any electric whatsoever, it's going to tell me, hey, your heater's not on. So before the temperature even starts to plummet, I'm going to know why that's happening. It also gives you visual feedback on anything that's supposed to be operating and you being able to see, okay, yes, it's still working. So kind of going, I guess, further on that, a lot of people talking about, well, I keep this fish and I have these corals, and somebody said a while back that we don't keep fish and corals, we keep water. And I think it's the most obvious thing that I've heard in recent history, and it's so unbelievably true. When your water is where you want it to be, things will be going your way in the tank. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be stable. So a lot of people chase these numbers and perfect feedback on ICP OES tests or or whatever it is. And the reality is, as long as you maintain the same conditions every day, day in, day out, things will be successful for you. So it's not just about preventing catastrophic loss or the doomsday scenario. It's about the little things every day. You know, putting fresh water back into the tank so that your salinity is always the same. And you can see my temperature here is within 0.2 degrees. That's unbelievably accurate. And the only reason it says 0.2, you have this one little moment there where it thought it was 0.1 degrees higher than before. That's unbelievably stable. A lot of people's tanks, before they have an apex, have no idea how much that's fluctuating every single day. So, you know, your target is between 75 and 82. Outside of that's considered bad news. But being able to keep it the same way it is in the ocean, where these fluctuations are over days or months, instead of every single day, where the tank is 75 in the morning and it's 81 in the afternoon when everybody's home, and then it's back down. Those are bad for everything in the tank. Even if things aren't dying because of it, they're not happy with the situation. So you're going to experience a loss in growth rate, unwanted things like aptasia. They thrive on temperature fluctuations, cyanobacteria. I mean, the list goes on. So these are all things that are included with the main system. A couple other things that I have on here. We sell a flow monitoring kit in different sizes for different things. Flow has become a much more talkative subject as of late since we came out with this. So I have a flow sensor on my return and on my chiller. The return's pretty obvious. You want to know that your water is flowing and it's flowing at a healthy rate. For things like the chiller, UV sterilizers, carbon, GFO, flow rate is absolutely critical. If the flow is not in the guidelines that the device manufacturer has quoted, it's either doing nothing at all or at least just costing you a ton of extra electric. UV sterilizers are probably the best example. If it's not between this and this, it's doing absolutely nothing at all. So you're putting money into the tank, replacing bulbs, and paying the electric bill. I don't think anybody likes paying extra electric bills. So one of the things I think a lot of our users find when they first get this is that the tank ends up costing them a lot less money because things are not running at the same time as other things, so heaters or chillers. UV sterilizers are run for certain hours per day. Things only need to be on when they're needed. It means they're going to last longer, the devices are going to last longer, and your electric bill is going to go down. So we also sell a PAR sensor. You do see that my lights are not on yet. They come on actually about now. We do sell that as an accessory so you can actually monitor the lux essentially in the tank. I do have the carbon GFO as well. And then all these switches that you see down here in the center are all the devices that I have plugged into the tank. So any of your equipment that you have, your turn pump, your skimmer, etc., all get plugged into these outlets, and then you can not only control them manually yourself on or off, but they can follow some simple algorithms to operate that device within a better spec than it would if it was just plugged into the wall. So the heater is probably one of the best examples. The heater will turn on and off between 77 and 78. The heater thermostat is virtually not involved until maybe a failsafe. And now you've turned a $30 heater into a laser precise 0.1 degree heater. And it only runs as long as it really needs to run. It's not going up, going down, going up, going down. You look at a lot of thermostats on heater controllers, they're almost like dim, but they're not bright and they're not off. It's because it's hovering at that thermostat. It's best to have the thermostat on the heater set to 80, have the apex turn it on and off. The thermostat will last a really long time because it's never actually being triggered. So it kind of goes all in all with the stability thing of just maintaining the same cycle. I use our automatic feeding system, which I use one for fish food and one for coral food. I feed my fish Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I put coral food in the tank on Tuesday. I don't think you need to feed most of your fish every single day. When I'm gone, which I am a lot, less is more. And the feeding is the exact same amount every single day that it goes off. So I control not only the water conditions with the temperature and the pH, etc., but I'm also controlling how much nutrients are going into the tank. That really helps you to find a balance of, you know, things in and things out. Putting more things in the tank doesn't always necessarily equate to better success. We also make a dosing system. It's been out. It's been one of our #1 selling products for a long time. It's extremely versatile. It can be used not only for adding additives, so I'm running a Triton system. It's accurate from 0.1 milliliters per day all the way up to nearly 20 gallons per day. It does a couple of unique things. Mainly, it can pull liquid from nearly a 20 to 30 foot vertical head, which there's really no other doser that can do. It can be used for automatic water change. It can also be used to dose liquid additives that you may not want to sit in a line because it can spin in both directions. So it can not only put water in, but it can also pull water back out. So you can use it for refrigerated foods, put the liquid in, have it rinse the line with tank water, and then repeat the process, either on command or automatically. One of the other things I have on here is our automatic top off. I can see where the water height is in the tank, if it needs water, if I have water in my container, and all that is, you know, automatic. But if I need visual feedback, so here I can see ATO, okay, close means wet. So the water is at the fill line. It's not high, which would be the ATO high. Sump low is a backup sensor that I have in there in case something was to go wrong. I also have an additional sump high in case things go off. I'd be able to verify I have way too much water in the tank. And then I also have optical sensors in my container because I leave a lot. I need to refill the top one, so I can top off my top off with my RO system, which is pretty nice. I also have an optical sensor in my skimmer. Everybody has their skimmer overflow at some point in time. Put a $30 sensor in there. Skimmer gets full. It's the optical sensor. Shuts the skimmer off. So I know it's kind of quick. I have all the stuff over on the table. It's probably hard to hear me. But if anybody has any questions on any of this stuff, I have my cards too. I'm more than happy to pass that along to you. The last bit of news. Sorry, I gotta see it's going to 3 agents that equate the same way you see on here.
There's a little bug out there. After we draw the door pricing, if you bring door pricing, put it inside that bucket, and in about 5 minutes, we're going to grab the best or our last chance items to close the door price.
Anybody got any questions?
We want to reward you guys for still being and for sticking out to the end. So we drop your door pricing, leave the bucket.
Nobody's napping.
We've got about 7 things left.
But I got some of this stuff. See what it looks like. I put a lot of things in my tank.
I said after I draw the door prize.
I don't spend a lot of time on my tank. I don't have a lot of time for my tank. It's expensive, but it pays for itself. I've had it for a very long time. The cost per day is in the pennies, basically. So if there's something that's going to keep you in this hobby and keep it fun and not make it a big chore, Neptune stuff will definitely help you, attain that. So most of our users are still in the aquarium, hobby for years and years and years. The average time for people is around 1.5 to 2 years. It's not really a long time to move on.
This is a movie. Hopefully everybody put a name on the number.
All right. Yeah, you're welcome.